never talked about. Pero mírame ahora, shining anyway. God help me when I felt alone, and now my heart beats louder, brighter, ready to claim everything He promised. No more hiding who I am, no more dimming this glow. He turned my scars into stories, and my stories into fuego. I'm crowned by faith, look at me shining bright. He healed my corazón and helped me win this long fight. I rise con fe, with joy in my veins, dancing out the darkness like it never had my name. Crowned by faith, that's who I am. Crowned by faith, this is my comeback dance.
Can you hear me now? It's one little tiny push. Can you hear me now? I'm gonna wait here for a minute before I like rattle on and on and on. Can you guys hear me? Can't hear you. All right, let's do this one more time. Hello. I'm trying. Okay. Oh yes. Can you hear me now? Let's just see. Anyone? Bueller going once. Can you hear me? We'll say testing, testing. I believe everything is on. Yes. Okay. So we're going to reset. We'll pretend you all just got here. I wonder why that's happening. I've been able to be on Zoom and have like calls, but then when it comes time to the show, like we're not there. Anyway, well, perfect. All right. Welcome. Welcome and hello. We are here for another episode of Behind the Lyrics. I am Elena Rodriguez. I am here because I am the author of Crowned by Faith. This was a project God placed on my heart back in 2025, and it also has a soundtrack to go with every chapter. So here's a little disclaimer, okay? Tonight's chapter is called Spiraling in Shadows. And that kind of like tells you everything you need to know. And it's actually chapter 6. So that means this is episode 7. I think, I don't know. But Spiraling in Shadows is the name of the chapter tonight. And the song that we are going to be covering is called Cracks in the Crown. And I'm just going to give you a warning. This song is different. We're going to start coming into, like I said, a kind of a couple weeks of really heaviness. So disclaimer, we're going to talk about drinking and alcohol. We're going to talk about narcissistic tendencies, narcissistic relationships, emotional abuse. We're going to talk about toxicity in relationships. Like we are going to get into some ugly stuff, but honest stuff. And here's another disclaimer. I know some people wonder, why does she talk about this stuff? Why would she talk about something that happened like so long ago? Why would she even like bring that to the forefront? And you know, if it bothers you that I do, here's my recommendation. Don't watch. Then that means this isn't for you. However, there's enough people that have gone through experiences, that are going through experiences, or that will go through experiences. And we need to discuss this. We need to discuss the ins and outs of it, because the reason that it happens so often and so easily is that nobody does talk about it. Why? Partly because when you've been in an emotionally abusive relationship with a narcissist, and I'm not talking narcissistic tendencies, we all have narcissistic tendencies. Okay. If you've ever taken a selfie, that's a narcissistic tendency. Okay. We all have characteristics. So let's just get that straight. There is narcissistic disorder. There are different behaviors, and that's the piece that people don't understand. And we have to talk about it. We have to actually see our ownership in it, but we have to make it not be something that you're ashamed of, that you're afraid of, because you know what? Chances are, if you have been in that narcissistic, toxic relationship, you've been hiding long enough. All right. So, part of the reason that I share this is because God said we are going to look at your experiences through the lens of my love. He's telling me of his love. So if I can go into some deep stuff that no longer bothers me, okay? You guys have seen me cry, you've seen me get emotional. Why? I'm human. But none of this bothers me. So if it bothers you, then that says more about you than it does me. So none of this bothers me, but I had to dig it apart. I had to dig into it and really look at it. And God allowed me to see things. And if I don't share those things, then who is it really serving? Me? Just myself? Well, that's not what I'm here for. Okay. And chances are, if you've been in that type of relationship and you've endured that kind of emotional abuse, because that's exactly what it is, you've already been hiding. And most times when we come out and start talking about it, we are blamed for it. It's still somehow our fault. And so I'm here to say that's BS. Get over it. It's time to step forward. What did God say? Boldly step forward, show your crown. And so that's what we're going to be doing. So tonight is going to kind of be like a soft entry, not necessarily into that portion of my true emotional abuse, but we're going to start seeing some of the patterns and the developments that did lead up to it. So I'm just putting that disclaimer. This song is going to be very heavy. You might leave feeling heavy, but then that's a perfect opportunity to give it to God. Okay, to give it to God. He wants you to be able to see your own experiences through his eyes. And he wants you to know that his love has been present back then, today, and will always be every one of your tomorrows. He needs you to know that. So this book, Crowned by Faith, is a book full of my little memory stories, but it's there to help you look at your own experiences through the lens of God's love. And I tell you how to do that in here. Okay, so that's what we're doing here tonight. And Christina says, preach it, girl. You know it. You know it. All right, so Spiraling in Shadows. The song is called Cracks in the Crown. And as we begin, again, guys, if you've read the book, if you've read the chapter, please let me know. If at any time you have questions, drop them down. Reminder, this is live. We are live, but this will be taken and edited to be on our TV streaming channel, Prospera TV Network. We are on Roku, so this will air in 17 countries. All right. Hey, Anna. And so if you have not gotten the book, we're going to be here for quite a while, several months before we get through this whole book. You can get one at any time at crownedbyfaithcollective.com. So be sure, there's so much on there. The soundtrack is on there. Everything we got going on with Crowned by Faith Collective is on there. So let's get started. All right. And also, if you know someone that could possibly be in a narcissistic abusive relationship, please share this out, no matter what age. The beauty of me being very open and being able to talk about this is that I've been able to talk with actual friends of mine who have daughters that are in those, college, early 20s, new relationships. They're in that arena, and by talking about this so openly for so many years, she's been able to actually identify some things and talk to her daughter about it. And the things that I've come out to say, it's helped the daughter see some things differently. And if that is not the sole purpose for this, then I don't know what else is. So if there's someone that pops in your mind that you think may be going through something, simply share this, and it will fall on who it's meant to fall on. Okay. I truly believe that. So, Spiraling in Shadows. Here we go. This is chapter 6 in the book. And again, we've gone week by week by week, except for the week of Christmas Eve. We jumped up to chapter 11 because that is the chapter Christmas Eve. And then we came back to get started back in sequence. So this is just like the little entry line to the chapter that says, parties hid my pain, but God was already preparing the next chapter. So I truly feel, nothing we do surprises God, but I was in full destruction mode, self-destruction. And if you guys remember from last week, the chapter was accepting what wasn't mine, and the song was letting go. And that's where, after having ran away from home, that's chapter 4. But after having ran away from home, I had been with the same guy since my quinceañera when I was 15. That's chapter 3. But we're talking years. We're talking from the time of 14 to approaching 2021. So almost 7 years. And me leaving, finally leaving, because he had gotten someone else pregnant, and devastated me, broke my heart. But not only leaving him, I left a family that had become my family. So I left another sister, I left 2 brothers, I left a dad that was kind of like a bonus dad. Like, I literally had to pick up and leave and come back to a home that was empty once again. So I did at that time what helped me get through, and that was just to numb the pain, so I didn't have to deal with it. And that's why we started spiraling. Okay, so here we go. I wish I could tell you life gets better after I walk away, but it doesn't. Not at first. I chase distraction dressed up as fun. I smile through the noise, and I carry a heaviness that no one sees. Nights out turn into late mornings. Laughter turns into hangovers. And I convince myself that if I stay busy enough, I won't have to feel the ache. On the outside, I look free. Inside, I'm unraveling, slowly, quietly, beautifully disguised. At 21, I'm legal. And I dive headfirst into the nightlife and all that that entails. Monday is latch string. Tuesday is O's, the Irish pub so old my parents partied there. Ceiling fan spinning with bras hanging like trophies. Wednesday, Delta House, total club vibe with a black and white checkerboard dance floor. Thursday, Legends. Friday and Saturday, wherever's open. By day, I function. By night, I numb. Budweiser is my silent companion, dulling the ache I don't want to admit is still there. So I have to set the tone for you of where I was. I'm smiling. I'm good. I can paint my smile. And I'm just destructing myself. I'm going out every night, drinking, drunk, driving. It was ugly. Okay. It was ugly. So as we get this chapter started, we're going to listen to the first clip. Again, guys, the song is kind of deep. It does get kind of heavy. So if you are, kind of skimming by, you might think, what the heck? That's okay. It's part of the journey. So here we go.
In the twilight haze, I'm still wearing a smile. But beneath this crown, I'm lost for a while. Living on autopilot, each day feels the same. Pour a glass of red to drown out the pain.
Okay. So, of course, in those lyrics, I put pour a glass of red to drown out the pain because eventually I started drinking wine too. I started drinking Jack and Coke. I started drinking rum, and I mean, it was whatever. So the glass of red just was more poetic for the song, but you could really insert whatever you wanted. I was drinking it, and it really didn't matter. Okay, so we were as we move through, and again, guys, I don't read the whole chapter. I jump around. I just pick bits and pieces, but there's a lot in here, and there's probably a lot that we'll just discuss that didn't really make it into the book. If I'd have put everything, like we'd have had a big manual that would have been like 100 pounds. So, okay. So on Thursday at Legends, everything feels normal until it doesn't. I run into old friends from high school. The kind you haven't seen in years, but conversation clicks like no time has passed. We're leaving, one says. Come with us. My brother's having a big party. Her brother. I know the name. His parties are legendary, and he's hot. I always thought he was hot. So out in the country, there's a giant tent. Kegs are lined up, a bonfire's throwing sparks, cars are pulling in and out. It smells like wood smoke and the start of a weekend. Colored lights flash here and there like a tiny airport in the dark. You could just, it was just open land and just cars and lights and things everywhere. Colored lights flash here and there like a tiny airport in the dark. Movement everywhere down below, in nothing but empty field beyond. I climb a little hill with a red solo cup and sit. From up here, I feel like a fly on the wall. I can see everything, and I tell myself no one can see me. He finds me anyway. Her brother, the host. A face I've known since elementary school. The kind of crush you hide at 13 and never really forget. He lowers onto the grass beside me. Why are you up here all by yourself? We talk, we remember, and then he asks me out. Okay, so before we move on beyond that piece, we're going to go into just another little clip, and then I'm going to share a little bit of why this moment is like so pivotal in my life. It's one that will come back to haunt me for years, and it's just it's amazing at what you can see when you look back. And unfortunately, God doesn't work in any other way. You don't see the things that you're in while you're in it. You can't like read the label from inside the bottle. Just like people say you can't see the picture from within the frame. And that's where we are living. We're in the bottle or we're within the frame, so we really can't see looking in. We can't see what is happening while we're in it. And that's why when I thought about this, I'm like, wow, this moment haunted me for like half of my life. So here we go. Let's listen to the next track.
Cracks in the crown where the darkness seeps, holding it together, but the silence screams deep. Whispers of fury, bruised on the inside. I'm a warrior folding, but I can't let it slide.
Okay, so it's building up. You're starting to feel the tension. So just kind of put yourself in that place where I'm drunk. I've already been at the bar. I ran into my friends. They're like, hey, my brother's having a party. I'm like, oh, he's hot. I remember him. So go to the party, but then there's just so much chaos. And you know, when you're going through a breakup or your heart is like broken, and sometimes you just add the perfect amount of alcohol that you just want to cry, and you're you know wallowing in your pity party, and that's where I got. So that's why I filled my solo cup up with the keg of beer, and I just wanted to go up to the hill and just be by myself and just cry and be sad and all the things and be drunk. And that's where I was. Okay, hey Tina Queen. Tina says, I love your book so far. Thank you so much. Beautiful. So we're at the top, and then he asks me out. Everything in me wants to say yes. He's older, steady, familiar. I bend forward, resting my elbow on my knee, a draft beer sweating in my hand. Tears slip before I can stop them. I'm a mess right now, I say, quietly tracing a little circle in the air around my blotchy mascara streaked face. Trust me, you don't want to step into this. And I remember kind of saying, I'm a mess right now. I've been crying. Back then, I didn't wear waterproof mascara or anything. So remember when you would cry and you would like literally see the tracks? I look like a hot mess. And I remember doing that, circling like my face. And I said, you don't want to step into this. And let me just keep reading before I tell you everything. The ache in my chest feels physical, like heartbreak lodged behind my ribs. He reaches for my arm, but I lift a hand, gentle but firm, asking him without words to stop. So what that means is I'm like, you know how you can be like, just don't touch me. Just get away from me. You don't even have to say anything. You can just motion like, just stop, like leave me alone. And then I said, please, I whisper, just leave me alone. And so I don't know that this single no will boomerang years later, twisted into blame, rewritten as rejection. All I know is this: I'm not ready. So, as that moment of him asking me out, me saying no, I'm a hot mess. I'm still in love with somebody else. 7 years of my life of running away from home is destroyed in a moment. He gets somebody pregnant. I don't know where to go. I'm by myself again. Like it was horrible. And I didn't really have anyone to talk to about this. No one. So I would just drink. So let's go into one more clip here. This clip is powerful. Okay, this is actually the main chorus of the song, which means she is belting it out. She's angry, she's frustrated, she's heartbroken, she's confused, she feels like crap, she's alone, she's in desperation. Like I try to capture how I felt at that time in my life. That's why this soundtrack is heavy. Okay, so just listen to this clip right here.
Spiraling in shadows when no one can see. Living in a battle I didn't choose to be. Wine and war, a toast to the night. Drowning my thoughts in a bitter fight. Screaming at God, but the words stay confined. Searching for freedom in the cracks of my mind.
So yeah, she's belting it out. She's angry. She's just a hot mess. Okay. And so I want you to think like in your life at those times where your heart is breaking. Sometimes we do crazy things. I know I can't be the only one. But at that time, it was like just self destruction, bad choice upon bad choice. And when a moment that I was around somebody that I actually felt comfortable with, that I thought it was okay to say, please just leave me alone. I thought I was doing him a favor by saying, I can't go out with you. My heart is still, a state over. Like I was doing the right thing. But sometimes people can't handle being told no when they're used to getting everything they want, right? So, as we move on, eventually the emptiness gets too heavy to ignore. I need more than another bar scene. I need a new beginning. I call my dad in Arizona. We haven't been close for years, but I ask if I can move in. To my surprise, he says yes. He promises to set up a room. My job at the post office has a transfer nearby. For the first time in a long time, I let myself hope. While I wait for the transfer, I start rebuilding myself, one step at a time. The treadmill hums a faint buzz, and my feet find a hypnotic rhythm that makes me feel like I could run forever. I lift weights in my bedroom. I quit drinking. I feel amazing, healthy, clear, strong, happy. I want to step into Arizona new, not the broken version of me. And maybe living with my dad will finally explain why people always call me my father's daughter. So I had a new hope. I'm like, all right, if you're going to do it, you're just going to go. There's absolutely nothing here for you. You gotten, again, I still just don't want to be home by myself. So like, let's try going somewhere else. So the transfer was done. It was going to take a little bit though. The position wasn't going to be ready for me for a little while. So, it gave me time to like, I'm not going to carry this hot mess to Arizona with me. I swear I'm going to start new. Nobody's going to know anything about my past, fresh new beginnings. And so I hit it hard and I started getting in shape. I started feeling good and I looked good and I was still going out, but I was drinking water. like for real. So it was a complete drastic change in my life at that time. And so we're going to go into the next clip that I somewhat reflect that time.
When I work hours just to feel alive, punishing my body where the hurt thrives. Anger, guilt, grief, wrapped in a fray. Running from the memories that never fade away.
Okay. So that's a part where, looking back, I was doing all of this. Like, I'm going to start new. I'm going to forget about everything behind me. But you guys know something? You can't just like forget. You have to actually take time to heal. You have to take time to face the things that hurt you and acknowledge them and work through them. But see, I didn't know that. I didn't know that back then. I thought, well, let me just take this kind of obsession, addiction, even manic state of just destruction, and like, let me put all of that into an obsession with like working out and not having time for anything else but staying up late because I worked nights, and so I would be up till like 3-4 in the morning working out in the basement at my house. Like, I realized that I still wasn't dealing with anything. And even though I got excited about a new beginning, I was actually just trying to run away from the thing again. I didn't want to sit in it. It's almost like too many years of pain that I've been tugging along like a ball and chain. Like, you're just dragging it with you. But I never knew that. When I talk about having to find the root, that very, very root that starts it all, we started with chapter 1. Many of you have a root that no matter how much you're trying to, fix forward and build along, if you feel like for whatever reason there's something that just still keeps preventing that progress, chances are the root hasn't been acknowledged or it hasn't been dealt with. So in this phase of mine, I'm telling myself, you're just going to get the hell out of here. You're going to go start again. Screw everything that has hurt you in the past. But I was still going to be taking it with me. And it's amazing to look back at that now, because I still wasn't sitting still to sit in it. Okay. But I felt better. At least I wasn't drinking. I was just beating my body up by overworking out. It just became like this obsession of mine. And so I just traded one for the other. Okay. So I'm ready. My bags, they're half packed. My mind is made up. But doesn't life have a funny way of testing your plans just when you finally feel steady? That's when I meet someone. A friend introduces us, and timing does what timing does. We keep running into each other. He's funny, outgoing, attractive, Mexican, like me. So he understands the music, the food, the family rhythms, the culture that feels like home, that culture that is so important to me that my grandma instilled in me. That's chapter 2. Okay. So I ask, divorce? I ask, not papers in the mail divorced. And he laughs, divorce. Kids? I ask. He shakes his head. No kids. So something in me exhales. I don't know why, but I believe him completely. His eyes carry a softness that feels safe, steady, like I've known him longer than I actually have. And without even realizing it, I know he's someone special. Now, here's the thing. Hey, Teresa, this isn't a comeback. It's a rerouting. Amen, sister. You are absolutely right. And we are here to reroute all of our pain. Like, I am here for it. You're showing up for it. like God says, it's time. We need to look at these things through his lens of love and try to make sense of it. As excruciating as that is, like, he's just saying, just look at your experience through my eyes for a minute and just try to see what I see and what I see in you while you're going through it. So rerouting, absolutely. So because my question was divorce, papers in the mail, but my main thing was kids. Because my heart had been broken by the love of my life at the time, getting somebody else pregnant. And I thought, if I'm able to have kept that part of me so sacred and special, that I didn't want to share that with no one. I didn't want to go through that experience that to me was so beautiful and so pure, and someone else have already gone through it. And maybe that was selfish. Maybe, I don't know. But I just knew if I've waited and I'm not sharing that, I want it to be just as special to someone else at the time. And so I didn't want to date nobody that already had kids. And so it was like, ooh, that's a point. I didn't care about the divorce part, and it was more about the kids part. So it's kind of funny. And I think because, parents are divorced, everybody, other people are divorced. I was never married, but in my mind I was. That's why my heart was broken so much. But all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, I kind of like this guy. I kind of think he's a little bit special. Hola, Yada. Hey, Queen. So the no kids part to me was super important. The fact that he was Hispanic, that he was Mexican and understood the culture was huge, because the music was so important to me. It still is today. Just the traditions, even the superstitions, like all the kind of things. Like, how do you explain some of these things to somebody that just doesn't get it? And I thought that's just a huge part of me. I don't have to explain this. He already gets it. Like, his whole family gets it. So we end up just like really hanging out quite a bit. All right. So I'm going to play another clip real quick before we move on to the next part.
Loneliness lurking, a ghost in my heel. The shame of failing, it's too much to feel. My father's voice echoes, his goodbye still raw. In this endless spiral, I'm pleading for more.
I was like, where'd I go? Okay, so needless to say, when you look at the root, all I wanted was to be loved, even though inside I didn't feel worthy of love. We established that, and we recognize that's the belief that was planted when my dad left when I was 8. Guys, this is how you actually establish limiting beliefs. Sometimes when people say, like, what are your limiting beliefs over this? Or what are your limiting beliefs over money? What are your limiting beliefs over... If you don't know how to know what a limiting belief is, it's really hard to like do the work through that. So a limiting belief for me in this was that I'm never going to find a man that loves me that's going to stick around. Or a limiting belief for me is that like relationships don't last anyway. Just those beliefs that, that the limiting belief that we covered, that the financial success that my parents had is actually what destroyed our family. So a belief is that if I make too much money, my family's going to fall apart. So why don't we stay poor so that we can keep the family together? Like, all of these are beliefs that you process and you develop in your mind, whether you realize that's happening or not. So you've got to look at these things to understand, where are you limiting yourself? Where are you telling yourself these lies? Because your mind doesn't know the difference. Whatever it is told, especially that subconscious side, it will receive it as truth. And so needless to say, I start having a great time. And I start telling myself, oh my gosh, what if I like, what's going to happen if I go to Arizona now? Like, this relationship is like really cool. And Arizona will always be there, but this relationship might not. And so what did I do? I didn't go. Once again, I sacrificed myself for the sake of a relationship, for the sake of just wanting love. Once again, I put my goals aside, my opportunities, for just the hope of maybe somebody's going to love me and stick around. Not once did I think like, well, if it's meant to be, then he'll stick around. Maybe he would have ended up in Arizona. I don't even know. I never gave myself that opportunity. And I'll never forget what that phone call felt like when I called my dad and told him like, never mind. I was just kidding. Guess what? I met this like really awesome guy and I don't know what's happening, but I'm just going to stick around just to find out. That's about how it went down. But you know, you look back and think like, you know, why didn't I just go? Or why didn't I just do this? And you can't do those things. But what God says is, how about you step back and look at it from the place that he was at that time, right? So there's not a whole lot about that part in the book. We got married. We have 2 amazing kids. I will always love him. We are great friends. Like, it's a thing that's not a part of this book. The part that I need to stress is that I still put myself last. And many of us do that without realizing that that's what we're doing. We think it's going towards a different type of opportunity or a different type of experience, but if we don't understand why we want that thing, why it's so important, then sometimes we're actually like jeopardizing our own opportunity. And this is the point where you can say there's no regrets. However, this all comes back to circle around to like bite me in the ass. And we will get to that in the next chapter. Okay. As we move along, when the narcissistic and emotional abuse starts to kick in, you will understand why just the one decision of me saying no on the rooftop, but then staying back from Arizona for this other guy actually becomes a punishment in my life, day in, day out for years. And it's heartbreaking to me. It's so heartbreaking to me. So we're going to listen to one more clip and then we're going to move into the next pieces here.
Here in this season of emotional collapse, I don't wanna die, but I crave to relapse. That crown might be breaking, it's heavy, it's warm. Yet through all this chaos, a new spirit's born. To rise from the floor, with every crack showing, I'm finding my roar. Forged in the fire of grief and despair, a warrior rising, I reclaim my air.
All right. So like I said, guys, this is a heavy song. So, you know, making the decision to not go to Arizona, it's amazing that I then carried guilt for hurting my dad. So when you hear this song, it's turmoil all around in my life. You know, the self-destruction, the decision to go, clean it up, make it better. Then carrying that guilt of hurting my dad. And I mean, it's just like, gosh, just catch a break here, give yourself a break. But sometimes when you're just in that mess of it all, it's like a web and everything's connected. And it's like you're, or like stuck in a net and you just can't get out. And that's where I found myself. And yet I looked to this new person as like my knight in shining armor, like he's going to fix it all. Um, Almost like somebody to just take care of me, like he's going to fix it all, he's going to get me out of all of this. And you can't ever put that kind of pressure on someone, you know, like that's never someone else's responsibility to fix you. All right, so as we continue in through the lens of God's love is the part that he allowed me to like see this experience from God, from his lens. And this is the piece that starts reflecting at what does this bring to you in your life today. So through the lens of God's love, I don't see a girl wasting nights in bars. I see a survivor doing the only thing she knows to quiet the ache of abandonment and heartbreak. I see God's protection wrapped around me, even when I'm running the other way, even when I step into rooms that could have swallowed me whole. Love reminds me God doesn't just wait at the end of the spiral, he walks into the shadows with us and guides us toward a light we can't yet see. I also see that nothing about those years is random. The chance encounters, the near misses, the pull forward or the pull toward Arizona, none of it is coincidence. If you've wandered into your own shadows, telling yourself joy lives in distraction, hear this, even there, God is with you. Even on the darkest nights, his hand reaches into your shadows and keeps leading you toward the light. And that might feel hard to understand in the moment or even believe, because sometimes you can feel like you're in that darkness for so long that you almost sometimes feel like God forgot about you. Like there's no way out of here. And that is so not true. That is so not true. His crowned truth says, you can numb the pain, but it will always resurface until you face it. And it only delays healing. God will place you in situations that strip away your distractions so you can finally see the healing he has waiting for you. Running from pain doesn't heal it. God will keep offering us the same lesson until we are ready to receive it. And that is huge, because if you notice in your life there ever be repeated experiences, that's simply because we didn't learn the first time. It shows up again. He will keep showing you something until you finally get it. So if something keeps happening to you that you're like, oh, I'm here again. Oh, how does it keep happening to me? Chances are there's something in there that you're missing that you need to look at, face, address. Okay. And so God will keep offering us the same lesson until we're ready to receive it. And when we do, he reveals that even broken choices can birth blessings and prepare you for your calling. So I am a firm believer that when God brings you through something and you're left standing to speak on it, that you've come out the other end, chances are you're stronger than you were the day before. It's because now you're called forward. Don't let that blessing go to waste. What you have been through, maybe what you're going through, is there to be a light for someone else. that might be going through it also, that might be just 1 or 2 steps behind where you've been. All you need to do is be 1 step forward to be able to help the person that's just 1 step back. It's not like you have to be like, I've made it. I've arrived. I've got everything figured out. My life is perfect. It doesn't work that way. But if you've been through something, if God has gotten you through something, he's blessed you, and that now has probably become a calling. You will begin to hear that you're supposed to do something with this blessing, that you're here to share something. And it's because somebody else that is where you were just days ago, just weeks ago, just months ago, maybe years ago, needs that now. I know by me doing this, someone needs this now, even though this is something I went through years ago, but that also took me years to get through. God's timing is not like our timing. He's not in a rush. He's not in a rush. So with that said, we got one more clip to listen to, and then we're going to come back and do our closeout prayer, talk a little bit about next week, and then like I do every other week, we wrap up with the full video. All right, so here we got one more clipping that I want to share with you.
So here's to the struggle, the storms that I've braved, to the cracks in my crown where my soul's been saved. Every shadow that falls, I'll embrace in my flight. For even in darkness, I'll find my own light.
Okay, so like I said, I mean, this song, this was probably one of the ones I was up until like 3, 4 in the morning. It is heavy. It is emotional. It is even kind of eerie. There's some that get even worse. Trust me. This is just the tip of it. This is just the beginning of not even knowing what's ahead. But this is the moment still of like my internal chaos. Just chaos inside, like a whirlwind, like emotion, pain, love, excitement, heartache, failure. I mean, all of it. And this was just a really ugly time in my life. Drinking to just be drunk every day, numbing the pain, making decisions from that place of not even knowing what I'm doing. Like, it was just a really destructive, dark place. And I want to share that because as positive as I am, as strong as I am, as, you know, full of my God's love and my blessings, I'm an ordained minister. You know, people don't know that. I can marry people and all the things. Like, where I am today, I wasn't always. And if I didn't let go of shame, if I didn't let go of kind of like just beating myself up, I would probably say shame and guilt were probably the two biggest, darkest emotions that I just recycled day in, day out. And I couldn't get out of it. You know, when you think of a tornado that's just moving at full speed, like how do you jump out of that? When you think of a train that is just like heading down, you know, racing, you know, super fast speed, you don't just jump out. So that's where my life was. It was just chaos. And I refused to slow down. And if I had to slow down, then let's start drinking because I can't sit here and feel this. And so I just kind of want to paint that picture that that's where I was at that time. And it's okay. I can talk about it now. But shame and guilt, if you're carrying any of that in your life for whatever reason, that part alone is time to give that to God, because he does not want you walking in shame. There is absolutely nothing that you can do that he hasn't seen, that he doesn't love you through. Nothing. You can't make up a new sin that is so bad that you actually surprise God. He knows. He knew before you even did it. He doesn't want you walking in shame. So if that be the whole message from this one chapter of Spiraling in Shadows and Cracks in the Crown, the name of the song, I had my crown back then, but I didn't know it. I didn't trust it. I didn't believe it. I didn't feel worthy of it. I didn't even want to look at myself. So let's just drink. You don't got to worry about nothing. You don't care who you're hurting. You don't half the time remember. So just if there's any of that kind of like a sticky residue on your life in some way, shape, or form, today's the day to just let God wipe it away. Just let him clean it up, because he's already loved you through it anyway. Okay? So as we move on, I'm going to read our prayer. Again, guys, in this book, at the end of every chapter, there's a QR code that you scan it and it goes directly to the song. So like if you are just buying this book or you're giving this book as a gift to somebody and they're just reading it, if they've never heard the song or they don't even know that I have like a soundtrack that goes with it, when they get to this back page, when they scan that, it will take them directly to the site that they can either just listen to it or they can watch the lyric video. All right. So I just want to let you know that that is in the book. So our prayer for tonight, before Mari says, I love you, Elena. Thank you. Thank you for speaking out on life. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. These next couple of weeks are going to get heavy. They're going to get heavy. They're going to get ugly. I'm going to be sharing probably some nasty stuff, some hard stuff, and that's okay, because I don't walk in shame anymore. So I want to thank you guys for being here tonight. Every Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we are live, and then you can catch the replay on our Prospera TV Network YouTube channel, Behind the Lyrics. So as we pray out, I pray over you. If this is finding you, then this prayer is for you. Dear God, thank you for never letting go of me, even when I ran into shadows instead of into your arms. Thank you for covering me when my choices could have harmed me, and for protecting me in places I didn't even recognize as dangerous. For the one reading, I ask the same covering. If they're numbing pain or hiding behind false strength, remind them you see beyond the mask and love them too much to leave them there. Give them courage to face what hurts, wisdom to know when to walk away, and faith to believe that detours can be divine direction. Trade their substitutes for real joy, and let your light be the one that leads them home. In Jesus' name, amen. So thank you guys for being with me tonight. And as we close out, here is the full song.
In the twilight haze, I'm still wearing a smile, but beneath this crown, I'm lost for a while. Living on autopilot, each day feels the same. Pour a glass of red to drown out the pain. Cracks cracks in the crown where the darkness seeps, holding it together but the silence screams deep. Whispers of fury, bruised on the inside. I'm a warrior folding, but I can't let it slide. Spiraling in shadows when no one can see, living in a battle I didn't choose to be. Wine and war, a toast to the night, drowning my thoughts in a bitter fight. Screaming at God, but the words stay confined. Searching for freedom in the cracks of my mind. Midnight workers just to feel alive, punishing my body where the hurt thrives. Anger, guilt, grief, wrapped in a fray. Running from the memories that never fade away. Loneliness lurking, a ghost in my heel. The shame of failing, it's too much to feel. My father's voice echoes, his goodbye still raw. In this endless spiral, I'm pleading for more. Spiraling in shadows when no one can see, living in a battle I didn't choose to be. Wine and war, a toast to the night, drowning my thoughts in a bitter fight. Screaming at God, but the words stay confined. Searching for freedom in the cracks of my mind. Here in this season of emotional collapse, I don't wanna die, but I crave to relapse. That crown might be breaking, it's heavy, it's worn. Yet through all this chaos, a new spirit's born. Falling apart just to rise from the floor. With every crack showing, I'm finding my roar. Forged in the fire of grief and despair, a warrior rising, I reclaim my air. Spiraling in shadows when no one can see, living in a battle I didn't choose to be. Wine and war, a toast to the night, drowning my thoughts in a bitter fight. Screaming at God, but the words stay confined. Searching for freedom in the cracks of my mind. So here's to the struggle, the storms that I've braved, to the cracks in my crown where my soul's been saved. Every shadow that falls, I'll embrace in my flight. For even in darkness, I'll find my own